so today is May 26th and it's 6 o'clock, and I'm calling the regular Board of Education regular meeting to order. And the next is the Pledge of Allegiance, and I am wondering if Ted, if you would be willing to lead us into the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I'd be happy to.
Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So one of the things in the past 2 months is we have not had citizens petition. The first month it kind of made sense. We were all kind of getting used to the Zoom and being together that way. But I did check in with the mayor and the moderator, and they both do have that section. And so in order to add that, I just need to have the majority of the board's consensus, 2/3 of the board's consensus, that we could add that piece on in case if there's someone who would like to talk to the board about issues. And so the first item that I'm going to just do is that, can I just see a show of hands?
I believe you have to do a motion, Kim. I believe you have to do a motion.
Okay, so Gretchen, would you be willing to just do a motion that you approve of adding the citizen petition to tonight's meeting? Gretchen, could you unmute yourself, please? Awesome.
Yeah. So many tricks to this.
Yes.
I motion that we allow citizens petitions this evening.
Can I have a second to that?
Second.
I see Lee. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Do we see anyone abstaining? All right, motion has carried. All right, and I will add that into our normal place. But the first that we're going to do is recognition and participation of visitors and delegates. Mike, do we have any?
We do not.
Okay, so that's easy. We're now going to go to the citizens petition portion of the agenda. This is the portion of the agenda that the board welcomes comments from citizens that actually pertained to the district itself. We ask that the comments be 5 minutes or less. It needs to pertain to the district. And if possible, your written comments could be forwarded by email to the board's clerk, which is Joan Johnson. And Mark, do we have anyone that is asking to come in to speak to the board?
I don't see anyone raising their hand in the way that you can. I don't see anything in chat.
Okay. I'm just going to give a couple more seconds.
Yeah, we have 31 participants, but most of them I recognize. It's
Okay.
just one phone number that I don't know who it is.
And they're not making known that they would like to?
No, they're not unmuting themselves.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Mark. And we will make this back into our agenda for the next time. All right. So I'm moving on to our agenda topics, and we're going to go on to student representative report. I don't know. Is Zay here, or is it just Addie?
Zay.
I saw Zay.
Oh, they're both here.
Yeah, there he is.
I'm here.
All right. All right. Addie or Zay, who wants to start?
If
I'll
Zay can
start.
start it, yeah.
All right, Zay.
But my Wi-Fi is really slow right now, so this might not go well. Okay.
I can take over if it gets hot.
All right, thank you. Freshmen have been asking around for people in their class to send pictures of their family members who are essential workers and have been recognizing them on their class Instagram account. The sophomores, as of right now, don't have anything planned, And the juniors are doing the crowning of our junior prom quarantine king and queen. Right now, we've sent out a Google form asking for nominations. Later this week, we will be sending out another form with the choices of our finalists. Hopefully, we'll be able to crown our junior prom royalties by next week.
Moving on to senior updates. There's a few that I'm sure a lot of you have heard about, including on this past Friday, May 22nd, faculty and other town personnel came to each senior's house and gave them a sign congratulating them on graduating and just kind of appreciating seniors, and also gave them their cap and gown. I was one of the seniors, and it was a very cool thing, and I think it was really good just to kind of remind seniors that we're all in this together, and it was just a great moment. And the other thing I'm sure a lot of you have out in some way, there will be a drive-in movie graduation for the seniors in place of what would normally be the graduation. For students at this moment, they're being given information. I know Mr. Kelleher sent out a video on this past Friday, just kind of giving some information on it, and there will be more information coming in the next week, this week and the following weeks before it. So we know as of now it's held in MLOT across from Catherine Konoski. It will start at 8:30. Other information will be given, and the class of 2020 officers are actually putting together a video just to kind of address student concerns and make sure students are excited about this graduation and making a positive message. Also on the senior class Instagram, we have been throughout the past couple months since quarantine started, having seniors submit a picture of themselves and what college they're going to or their after school plans. And we've been making individual posts for each senior that submits this, so we can kind of just celebrate each individual senior and what they're planning to do. So that's what we've been doing on the Instagram, just to kind of get morale up and make sure all the seniors feel like we're in this together, and it's a celebratory moment.
All right, and we have one more item if my Wi-Fi works. Students completed AP reviews in the past 2 weeks. There were some technological issues across the world when students were submitting their tests online. Some students will be retaking the AP exams in June. Congratulations to all students who got through all their AP tests.
So Zay, I think what you said was that there was some technological issues with the AP exams.
Yes.
And that some are going to take them over again. Okay. I thought that was so, but I wanted to make sure. Lee, did you raise your hand?
Yeah, I did. I just wanted to let Addie know that on Dave Collins's column today, it's all about Brown University. And she might like to read it.
Oh, thank you. I'll check that out.
Okay.
Any other comments for our student representatives? Liz?
Yeah, just a quick question. Zay, was the technology on the student part or the AP Central? Do you know?
Addie might
Yeah,
know more about more.
Why don't you type it to me, okay? Because I couldn't understand a word you said.
I couldn't either.
I can add on to that if that's okay.
1 second.
Better.
All right. Thank you.
1 second. Addie, why don't you just finish?
Basically what happened, it was on the side of the AP College Board. And students definitely had some trouble, especially submitting images. I think there was some corrupt files on the side of College Board, or just it was a little bit difficult for students to understand exactly how to do it. But they're working to fix it and to offer makeup exams in June for all the students that weren't able to submit all of their tests.
Thank you, Addie. Thank you, Zay.
All right, anything else for the student reps? If not, I'm going to be moving us along. And Dr. Grenier, I'm moving on to the superintendent's report. That would be you.
Okay. So tomorrow, the first item is the return to school roadmap. Tomorrow, there's going to be an orientation session for the chairs of the committees and all the principals. We're calling that the core group. And it's going to orient us to the work of the 6 committees. And I'll just tell you what they are. Governance, instruction and technology is the second. Operations is the third. Facilities is the fourth. Wellness is the fifth. And post-secondary is the sixth. And we do have several board members that signed up for committees. But if you're interested, probably the easiest thing is just send me a note, and I'll get the note to the chairman of each of those subcommittees. Once we go through tomorrow, I think we're going to have our little better orientation to the sort of work that will be done starting now and really going through the summer in preparation for perhaps a full opening, perhaps a distance learning opening, or perhaps a hybrid opening. And that's what everyone is really working hard on, the hybrid opening. If we only had say a third of the kids or a half of the kids could come to school, that'd be a real challenge for everyone, particularly parents. So anyway, we're working on those plans. I think Kim is going to be able to hop in. Andrea, did you get an invitation to that? I know you're on the core group, I think.
You are not unmuted.
Oh, I know. There we go. I'm sorry. I did, and I was remiss. So would you put me on the committee? Just put me on.
Sure. Okay.
Got you on instruction and technology.
Yeah. And so the committees will, once we go through this orientation, we'll reach out again. Just send me a note if you want to be on a particular committee. But that, I think that's going to really help us organize ourselves as we go through, because it's a comprehensive, everything from instruction to financing, how we're actually going to pull this off.
Mike, can I just add to that? So this orientation and this professional development with the Connecticut Center of School Change is the core group of principals and central office folks and anybody who's running those particular areas. So once we get that information, we'll be sending out invites. Like I have instruction and technology, and those people who've signed up, teachers and administrators, Board of Ed members, will get an invitation to come and meet as a group for each of those areas.
Susan, what are the 5 other committees? I don't have that in front of me.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
you know what? I'll send it out. I'll send it out.
Gretchen, did you have a comment, or Lee, did you have a comment? Okay, great. All right, moving on, Dr. Grenier.
Eddie already mentioned that we put already have a fair amount of plans, but I'll let Ted explain a little bit about the graduation planning, if you would, please, Ted.
Sure. So basically, Matt Brown has been kind of leading the charge. We've been meeting once a week with the graduation committee, just trying to get all the planning done. Right now, the message going out to the seniors, we gave them some information, but we want to just make sure that we get the cars registered for, what car they're going to be bringing in for the graduation. We want to make sure that we're positioning the cars in a way where everybody's going to be able to see the screen and that we have them distanced. And the distancing isn't so much because of COVID. People are going to be in their cars, but it's more just so you had to do it in a checkerboard fashion so everybody can see the screen. So we're going to be working on that. The next steps that we're going to be taking, just looking at the agenda that we have coming up, we're going to be looking at the decorations, the video, what are some of the pieces of videos that we're putting together, again, the parking lot registrations. We want students to be able to decorate their caps. I know that's been a real tradition here at Fitch, and we want to make sure we continue that, and how we're going to present the candidates during that time. The last step that we're taking, and I have a little less information on this piece, is we're also, the drive-in graduation portion is really going to be a drive-in movie. It's not going to be something where people are going to be getting out of their cars. And so we're also having a conversation about how are seniors going to get their diplomas, and how can we make that special as well. So we are putting together some plans for that. There's not much I can tell you about it yet. We're still kind of getting the works done with that, but we do want to have an opportunity for seniors to be able to come get their diplomas, have an opportunity for parents and loved ones to be with them, to take pictures, and how we can make that happen in a safe way. So that's kind of the next steps that we're working on. So and that would happen sometime maybe the Saturday after graduation or the Monday after. We're not exactly sure yet. So but you know, a lot of great things in works. We got a lot of people working on this. We have an abundance of volunteers. The Groton City Police Department has been extremely helpful in the entire process. And quite frankly, the word's out, because I'm getting a lot of calls from principals asking me how we're doing this. So it's great. So I think it's going to be a really nice event, and you know, but a lot still to do.
Thank you, Ted.
So the next thing, and we have a couple of people here who can answer some questions, but we looked at the job description and the title after last week's COW meeting, and we changed the title of this, what used to be called the Special Education Curriculum Coordinator. We called it the Student Services Facilitator, and we wrote a job description that basically reflects the work that we hope this person is going to do. So if you have it in front of you, the first one is to coordinate PPT and 504 meetings based on the compliance requirements, parent requests, and student needs. That's really the heart of it. The people will be doing, that person will be doing other work, but really will be focused on PPTs and 504s. But I can answer, or perhaps Ted or Denise could answer any questions if you have anything other than that.
Any other comments?
I had a question.
Oh, hi, Rita.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
I appreciate the special education chart that Denise did, but could you also put some names of the people that are in those positions too?
Sure.
The ones, I think that would help. It just, it seemed a little vague. But I think this job description is much better. So thank you.
Denise, maybe we could just annotate it and shoot it, and I'll send it to me and I'll put it in board notes.
Absolutely.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
The next thing is having to do with the humanities coordinator. I know Liz was interested. What we're trying to accomplish, Liz, was humanities typically is English, history, and world language. Right. But we knew the English department was so large, we thought that plus a fairly large social studies department plus a relatively large world language department would just be unmanageable. So we broke off world language and social studies, and that will be the humanities person.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
You're welcome. And then the last thing is
so Dr. Grenier, before you start in with that of number 5, which is the update of the high school literacy specialist. I know that Susan and Dr. Grenier, and I believe Denise Doolittle, and Denise, you've moved on my screen. Oh, you're now front and center. Is that this might be something that we might want to have a conversation and vote on towards the end of this meeting. Once again, we would have to have another vote to be able to add this as an agenda item. But Dr. Grenier, take it away.
Well, if you remember, we determined that there was a 0.5 literacy position that we could create because of some funding that used to go to a tutor, and we were able to shift over. And,
right.
and Ted and the English department were and Erin McGuire were super interested in getting a literacy person. So we advertised for a 0.5. And if you remember, we said we weren't really sure what we were going to do. If we got a 0.5 person, we would have hired them. Well, it turns out that we've identified an outstanding person who is really looking for a full-time job. And so my first conversation was with Ted Kelleher, because I wanted to know if we could get a full-time person, would it be possible to assign that person to the classes, to full classes? And he said, absolutely. We've got a real need at the high school for a literacy intervention. And then my second conversation was with Denise, because I said, we need to fund this position, this half a position. And so I said to her, one of the ways we could possibly fund it is by eliminating 2 paraprofessionals, and she worked with her staff, and we believe that the money for the other half position, half of it has already been approved in the budget. The other half that we would like to make a 0.5 literacy specialist into a 1.0 literacy specialist would be funded half by the reduction of 2 paraprofessionals at the high school. Ted and his staff have been working over the last several years, last year with Ted, to reduce the paras. More and more kids are getting support, mainstream support. We don't have all that many paras any longer. So we think that we can fund this other half of a position, which would be great. And we would really like to have a literacy position. Maybe Ted, you could talk a little bit about the literacy needs as you see them.
Yeah, we really broke it up into 2 different areas. The first is just the intervention piece, working directly with students, and we'll have more periods of that available to us with the full-time position, but also giving this person who has a great deal of experience working directly with teachers regarding literacy skills in the classroom, and allowing them to work with our teachers, I think is a big part of this as well. So, I think it's increases the amount of time that that person is with students, and also gives us the opportunity for that person to work directly with teachers as well.
And I have to add that one of the main areas that we're lacking at the high school is the ability to really assess students the way we do at the elementary and the middle school. So having someone with that level of expertise is just really good. And she was able to really demonstrate that level of expertise in a case study that we gave her. So we were really, truly impressed at how she examined, even in a case study, in a virtual interview, how well she handled that.
Absolutely.
And we're all believers that reading and writing across the content area is so important, and it gets even more important as they get older in the high school.
So I just kind of want to backtrack, though. Let's be clear, we're not making this a full-time position because we don't have a need, but we really like this person. I mean,
the way
it was presented at the very beginning was that you found someone, but it was only a part-time position and you moved it to a full-time. I don't want the community to feel that we found someone and you don't look a full-time position.
Right.
So I just want to make sure that the board is clear that that Susan, Denise, and the staff at the high school have demonstrated that there is a need for a full-time literacy specialist that's in that. So I kind of wanted to make sure that at least the public is clear that we're not just creating a position because we kind of like someone.
Right. Absolutely.
But I would entertain questions from the board. Rita?
No, I'm all in favor. I think it's been a long time that we've needed another full-time person there. So an interventionist, but I would say mostly focus with the students and not as much with the teachers. But that's my feeling.
That's what we are planning.
Okay.
At least 75% with kids.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. And do we still have the
I got you.
literacy program for the ninth graders when they come in and they know that they're way behind? What do we do for those students?
Yeah, well, Ted, you can talk to it, but I know we have some classes that are quite low in enrollment. And I think that's primarily what we do for the kids who struggle, or is there something else?
Gretchen, I got you.
You're not sure? We used to have a whole computer.
Yeah.
They worked a lot, and they actually had double English periods.
It's called Read 180. Read 180.
Yes, Read 180. Does that still exist, or did you move that down to the middle school?
Okay, I'm sorry, Rita, I wasn't sure which program you were talking about. I don't believe we're using
Read 180.
Yeah,
You're
Read
not
180.
using
I don't believe that we're using that at the high school at this point.
We have another resource called Lexia Power Up, which is aligned with the Common Core standards. So, but we needed someone to help access that, you know. So this person will have materials, but she's also very adept at understanding literacy and how to teach, you know.
Oh, good.
Once again, I really want us to caution us not to talk about the person, but let's talk about the position, because we're going to be taking a half-time position, making it a full-time position because of the need, not because of the person.
I think it's just another opportunity for us to have 4 full intervention periods with students, which we're going to be able to fill easily, and then having a period where the this position would be able to work with teachers as well to affect all other students in the classroom. I think is going to be beneficial for the high school.
Thank you, Ted. I know that Liz, you had a question, and then Gretchen, you've moved on my screen, sorry, and Gretchen.
I just had a question about the financing of it. And I'm just concerned about taking paras away. Don't our kids, aren't paras assigned by the IEP process? So that if a kid needs a para, we have to get a para for them. How are we going to adjust using, taking 2 para positions away? I'm not quite sure about that, so.
Denise, I'd be happy to.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Mike. Just today, we were sitting down with Denise and going over single student that we had that had para needs, and reviewing that and looking exactly what our needs were, so that we weren't missing any students that had a need, and we weren't going to be able to fulfill that. So it really just comes down to what the need was at the high school, and you know, just how many paras that was going to be. So it wasn't just like, well, we think we can just do with 2 less. I think we wanted to make sure that that we were fulfilling those needs as prescribed by the IEPs.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really a reallocation, Liz, because we have some specialized classes that are, you know, a modified curriculum taught by a special ed teacher. And in those small structured classes, we don't have a need for paras in the classroom because of the, you know, the nature of the curriculum, how it's really modified for those students.
Okay, thank you.
Gretchen? You're going to have to unmute.
Okay. I know this is sort of off the side of, you know, the para issue and what are we doing with kids who aren't keeping up, but I've had a lot of parents come to me with concerns about this. My kid is keeping up, but what about my neighbor who I know isn't doing anything? So how are we working that? I mean, that really is going to come into play come fall.
Are you talking about distance learning?
Distance learning, and which kids are ready to go? Say you have a 2nd grader, is that 2nd grader ready to go?
So the agenda item that we're on right now is the literary specialist for the high school.
Okay.
Do you have a question about that position?
Is it, no, not the position, just how are we going to do it this year? So I'll let that go for now.
Okay, no, so your question is how are we going to do a literacy specialist? My assumption is then that would be about distance learning across the board with all of our other coaches and specialist math.
Right.
And
there's going to be a lot of kids coming this fall that aren't ready literacy wise, possibly.
Right. And I think we've been talking about that, Gretchen, and that's a good question. Unfortunately, right now, we're just talking about the literacy specialist position for the high school and moving it from a part-time position to a full-time position, with the funding source coming from the salaries of 2 paraprofessionals. And is it the Alliance? I'm sorry, short attention span.
It was a tutor, a math tutor that actually picked up by another grant, so the money was released for the first half of the position.
Okay.
Well, as Scott would say, the squirrel started running and I went with it.
I got it, Gretchen. Not a problem.
Right.
What I'm going to then ask the board, if there's no more questions about the need for this position, is that I need to have a motion on the floor that we move this literacy specialist position from a part-time to a full-time, so that they can go ahead, they being the staff, go ahead and finish up the employment issues or job description and such. Liz.
I make a motion that we move this position from a part-time to a full-time literacy specialist for the high school.
Can I have a second on that?
Second.
Okay, I got Jane. Is there any further discussion on this? Okay, so can I can't see Miss Joan, but Miss Joan, can I add this now to this vote, or do I have to wait for the new agenda items?
I would suggest you wait until the motion part personally, but it's up to you.
All right, so the voice of reason has spoken.
And, you're adding this motion to the agenda.
Okay, so that's right. So I'm adding this motion to the agenda.
Yes.
There's no discussion. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of moving this motion to the agenda, which will be done later on in the evening, hopefully not
under new business.
Thank you. Under new business. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
So I've got 1, 2. Lee, are you in? Okay. All right. Oppose? Abstain? The motion has carried, and we will vote on this position later on in the meeting. Sorry about that, folks. I had a brain fart. Moving on to the assistant superintendent, the update on the 20 Alliance funding.
So our Alliance funds finally did arrive and were allocated for the purposes which we had spoken about. I did reach out to our Alliance support representative and requested that there was some PD that was in the grant that we wouldn't be able to partake in, especially since the grant closes up at the end of June. So we asked if that could be moved to the technology to assist our technology plan. And so that was validated. So the Alliance grant, and I think we probably have an adjusted one that Ken has put together, but the professional development was removed and we added that amount or that portion of the money from Alliance to the tech plan. So that's where it is, but it finally arrived, the money.
Okay. Any questions about the Alliance? All right, Sue, move on.
Okay, the next situation, I'm happy to say after months and months of hard work, I want to commend the team who worked on the Department of Defense Education Activity STEM grant called Career Pathways and STEM Literacy. And Shannon is here and she just did a remarkable job. Most of you probably saw the extensive research project that this entailed. Really tells a story about Groton. It tells a story about the work that we've done in the past 7 years in getting these grants and for really the purpose of improving and having high quality instruction, professional development, to really expand our career pathways for our students, really starting in this grant, really starting from elementary, having kids understand different careers and middle school and into the high school. And then it really helps us with sustainability with the work that we've done in literacy, now expanding it to literacy, reading and writing across the content areas, especially with regard to STEM. So we're just really pleased with the outcome of the grant and keeping our fingers crossed. I also want to do a shout out. I saw Val Nelson and Carol Marsiglio here, and Shelley O'Neill Keefe, and Ann Frabotnik is here. And that was really the girl power team, along with all of our administrators at the high school and middle school and even elementary school, who helped really spearhead this vision and put it, and with Shannon's support, really putting it into words and graphs and charts and showing the upward mobility that we're seeing from our kids in all of their performance. So I'm going to let Shannon maybe speak to it a little bit so she can tell you.
Thank you, Susan. Yeah, it was a great experience. The past couple months, our team met almost weekly, and we also conferenced with quite a few other people as we were developing the grant, including the Connecticut River Academy, who is one of the partners on the Expect grant. So we submitted the proposal last Friday, and hopefully we'll hear about it later this summer. If we receive it, it'll be a $750,000 award for the next 5 years. It would allow us to continue our partnership with Teachers College for the elementary and middle schools. And it would enable the Shelley and Ann and the Career Pathways team at the high school to start putting some of what they've been learning in their study cohort at the Connecticut Department of Ed. They're part of a study there with the National Career and College Transitions Program. They'd be able to put some of that work into practice at the high school. Yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up. Shelley, is there anything you want to add about the Pathways, or Ann, the Pathway program, the work you've been doing with NC3T?
Go ahead, Shelley.
Okay, so we have continued to meet as a team. So Jasmine Zubak, Erin McGuire, myself, and Ann have continued to meet as a team basically weekly, just about the pathways in general. And the grant that was just submitted is definitely a great support for the pathway system, especially in the health area, and expanding what we can offer at the high school. But it's really showed us, like Susan mentioned, how we need to expand and bring down that pathway information to the elementary and middle school students, so that when they do get to the high school, they have a better idea and awareness of maybe what they want to jump into with our pathway system. We are continuing to work with NC3T, which is the National Center for College and Career Transition, being put on by the state of Connecticut. We have another cohort meeting with them next week. And I believe we continue with them through the fall. And then we're hoping for those pieces to come through with the different grants that have been submitted to kind of bring it all together and put a nice package together.
And we also recognize through surveying students that they're particularly interested in the health fields. And this would expand from what we have in the nursing program to things like biotech and bioengineering, and who knows what the possibilities are with that. So that's very exciting, I feel, in expanding. Communication was a big part of this grant, that we really want our students, especially our military students who've lived in possibly 8 to 10 different ports and gone to that many different schools, to be able to come into Fitch and be able to look at, talk to a counselor, be able to see a glossy brochure, be able to see it on our website even ahead of time. What are those different pathways that they can participate in, so that they really have a good understanding of what Fitch has to offer, not only for military children, but for all of our students, and to know even as early as upper elementary and middle school what those pathways are. So I think that communication piece is really critical.
Other questions? Dr. Grenier.
I
Okay, I'll get to you after. Sorry.
I just wanted to make sure the board understands, and I really want to acknowledge the team, but Shannon Weigel has this amazing ability to sit there patiently and process all the information that Shelley and Ted and Susan and people were just feeding ideas in. And you know, it's a great brainstorming session. And then 3 months later, we walk away with a well-articulated, finely detailed, down to the numbers grant proposal. So what we're hoping a few months from now to say, you know, we got another DODEA. We've in the last 4 years we've gotten 3. So we're keeping our fingers crossed. But this is the kind of work that goes into it, and of course we'll keep you in the loop. Shannon, do you have any anticipation when the grant announcement will be made?
Unfortunately, no. You know, a couple years ago, we used to hear in mid-July. We used to have a good sense if we were in the running.
Mm-hmm.
But then I believe it was 2 years ago, we didn't hear until September.
Okay.
So, and I know the other grant that we submitted to DoD STEM, we were supposed to hear in April, and they just told us we won't hear until until June, mid-June.
Okay.
So I'm guessing it'll probably be at least August.
Yeah. So we'll be patient, but hopefully we'll come to you with a grant announcement, and then it will go to the board for a vote, and then the town council, then the RTM. But a lot of work goes into this. We are laying the foundation, particularly for our non-college bound students. This would be a phenomenal pathway for those kids. That's all.
Any further question or discussion? Shannon and your team, thank you so much for the hard work that you have done to provide all these wonderful opportunities for learning opportunities for our students. So thank you very much.
I have one more thing to report. A survey went out to our families. So I want to encourage them to fill in the elementary magnet survey. You can fill it out as a board member, a community member. A student can fill it out, and we've had many students who filled out the survey. When you go on to take the survey, it shows you the different categories of magnet schools that we have. It's got some written, you know, a paragraph about it. It also has a link so you can see either a website or a video of a sample magnet theme that is like the one that we're suggesting. So we will be collecting that data, and I will be able to come back to you with the results of the naming committee for the elementaries and the magnet themes. And so that should be for June 8th.
And is the survey on the website?
Survey is one of those that will annoy you to death. It like is front and center with a big hand, and it pops right up.
Okay.
And I sent out a robocall school messenger to let families know where to go to find it.
Okay, Gretchen, unmute, please.
Where, I'm sorry, I missed it. I was trying to find something. How do we let people who aren't in the schools know how to vote for what they want the name to be?
Just tell them to go right to the website.
I can't make 1,000 calls, but I'll put it on my Facebook.
There you go. Yeah, they can go.
Let's let everybody know.
One of the things we could do, Mike, is we could send out to the town council and the RTM. So those two committees would be able to know to go on the website, and we would love to hear from them what, you know, they're thinking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, anything else on that? If not, I am going to move us to the business manager report.
All right, hello.
Hi, Karen.
Hi, so I am going to share the object code summary, if I can find it here. Maybe I'm not.
Well, while you're looking, Ken, they've got the hard copy also.
Yeah, well, I don't know why it's not coming up as a, option here. Oh, here we go. Show all windows. There we go. Okay. So here is our object code summary that you got the hard copy for. Just going to the top here. So this was as of last week. I know it's kind of small. Let's see, make it bigger. And then you can't see it, so no. Okay. So this object code summary and the estimate in the second from the right column takes into account the cost avoidance that we spoke about at our last meeting, as well as additional cost avoidance that we have come up with regard to transportation, STA, our main bus transporter, as well as Groton that does a lot of our special education runs, as well as a little bit some other cost avoidance that we're going to have in this year before the end. And so if I can go to the bottom, we are anticipating at this point spending $77,347,374, which is $90,716 below our budget. So that's where we are at this point. So this takes into account the funding of the IT equipment plan that we will look at in a minute, and any of the other additional expenses that we were anticipating incurring.
And I'll just point out, there's still a month to go. So we know invoices have a funny way of coming in. So we want to be sure we have sufficient funds to take care of any last minute invoices.
Yeah.
Any other questions from the board? I can't actually see the whole board.
Well, I'll stop sharing.
Would you stop sharing, Ken? Thanks.
There you go.
Is there any other questions from the board? All right, sorry guys, I just lost everyone. All right, hearing none, I'm going to move on. The health account.
So the health insurance report we just got today. I do have it, and I'd like to share it if you. Oh, that's the same thing. What the heck? Share screen.
That was it, Ken. We saw
it was. It didn't look like it to me.
It's a pretty color bar graph.
Okay. Okay.
There we go.
So this is updated from last month in that it has the month of April, and the month of April was a good month, 80.6% of budget. There is some impact with COVID. You'll notice in particular, it screams at you under the dental paid claims. There's nobody going to the dentist right now, so those are down. RX claims, the pharmacy claims, not changed at all, but a little bit reduction in our medical paid claims, just probably because of elective surgeries and these types of things that aren't really happening right now. But so for the month, we are down to budget 80.6%, and year to date 87.8%. Hopefully everything starts to open up again, and we're not expecting there to be too much of a lag, but there may be some impact on next year's health insurance reserve.
Ken, if this trend continues, what do you think June 30th will look like?
If it continued at this rate, we'd probably be around 87% for the year. 85% for the year. Compares last year, we were in the 90, I think it was 92%. So, I think May is probably going to look a lot like April, but I'm hoping June becomes a little more normal.
Yeah.
And that's what MDG, our insurance agents, anticipate, but we'll see.
Okay. but it looks like the health insurance reserve is going to be a little stronger than we anticipated.
Probably, yes.
Do I have any questions from the board?
Oh, I'll stop sharing. Let's see. There we go.
All right. Oh, Liz.
I'm novice at this, so excuse my my question, but if we don't spend everything, what happens to that money? Does it go into an account that carries over, or do we have to give it back to
No,
the
essentially, it's a reserve. So we're putting funds in it per the budget,
Yeah.
and then money comes out per the schedule for claims. So if not as much comes out for claims, that means it's higher, and it just stays there for the next year.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to move us on to the Director of Building and Grounds. Sam, are you there?
Good evening.
Hey, there you are.
Hi. So the first item on my list is the middle school packing and moving. Tom Beebe, who is the representative from Arcadis and is the move manager, has been overseeing the packing at the two middle schools. And teachers have been coming in 5 to 6 at a time in each of the schools, and the packing continues at this point. If and then we will move the stuff to the middle school if it's ready to have it moved there. If there were a delay or the time lag there, then the moving company would actually have a warehouse to move that stuff to in the meantime. But right now, it looks like the items will just be moved directly from the middle schools directly to the classrooms of the teachers in the new Groton Middle School. Regarding the construction projects, the Groton Middle School continues to move along on schedule. I don't know if anybody's got the opportunity to drive by and see the new turf field. The turf is on the field. It's unbelievable. And if you look from the high school, you can see that it's an enormous field. It's really a terrific field, and that's been going on, as well as all the other projects moving along on schedule. At the Cutler site, site work continues over there, bulldozers, backhoes, excavators, so on and so forth. And they've actually poured some concrete for footings over there already in one section of the building. At West Side, again, excavation continues. They've moved some fencing around over there. And they're going to be getting close to the kitchen at West Side shortly. So this Friday will be our last day at West Side for food services. And Ernie and the team are actually going to move into the interior of Branford Manor with that site beginning next week. So on Monday, they'll actually be in Branford Manor to hand out those meals next week. And that would be about it for now, unless you have some questions.
Sam, how is the information getting to the families about the change in site?
They've been telling the parents as they come in to pick up the meals that they're going to be moving.
I am really sorry. I have a bird fight right in front of my window, so it's very loud.
I'm wondering too, Sam, if we could put up a sign at the site that would indicate that it's going to be moving as of such and such a date, and just to put it right in front of West Side so parents driving by would see that and they would know
where to go.
I think there was a sign up there, but we'll make sure that we get one up there so that, especially if somebody comes next week that didn't get there this week, that they know that it's been moved to Branford Manor.
Thank you.
Branford, yeah. Rita, you need to be muted, unmuted.
Yes. Sam, on June 12th, will our meal program end for the students in our schools?
No.
No.
No, we've been granted the waiver to continue the meals through the summer. You know that previously during the summer, the people had to actually stay at the site and eat the meal there, but they're granting them to allow them to take them home now.
And will it stay at Branford Manor in the summer, or will it be moved to Marine Science?
As far as I know, we're going to stay at Branford Manor, but I'll verify that and let you know.
Yeah, I mean, I just didn't know, because I know the city of Groton is not starting their rec program until, I think, June 29th now.
Right.
So that's what, I wasn't sure whether or not, would there be another feeding site there and Branford Manor? So it's just a question.
Yeah, I'll double check on that and let you know.
Thank you.
The other thing, Sam, we may want to just make a note on the front page of our website too, that there's going to be that change.
Okay.
Erica can do that if you just let her know.
Yep.
So we can make people aware that way as well.
Thank you, Susan. Any other questions to Sam? Sam, what about the moving of the portables?
I just had the bids come in today regarding the foundations for the portables. We're reviewing them, and we have to vet them to be sure that the low bid is in fact the low bid, making sure they have everything in the bid. And we'll be deciphering that this week, and hopefully they can get started on those. So right now, it looks like we'll have everything done in time for them to just move them over. So.
Wow, it's amazing. Any other questions for Sam? Hearing none, I'm moving us on. So the committee reports policy. Lee, it looks like you guys have been very busy and you need to unmute. You need to unmute, Lee. There you go.
There we go. We continue to meet. We have a lot of busy for you today. We meet next week. We do that on Zoom also. So we'll talk about it in a couple of minutes.
All right, thank you, Lee. Curriculum, Andrea?
We're meeting on June 1st.
Okay. And also, I mean, last time we met, we had the conversation about the high school courses. So that's what you guys have been working on.
We're doing that, and we're doing, I wrote it down as curriculum and, sorry, it's in
that's okay.
Instruction, technology, and
instruction.
Help me out, because I can't find my note.
It's the instruction and technology roadmap we're going to discuss.
Right, that's right.
Cool. Oh,
and
cool.
here it is.
Just in time.
Yes.
All right, and Jay, finance and facilities?
Yes, we met on May 5th. We received updates about the STA and Curtin contract, and also updates from Ken. And we're tentatively going to meet June 1st.
Okay.
Boy, a lot's happened in June 1st.
I've just been advised.
Go back to back.
Yes.
4, 5, and 6.
10 seconds ago.
All right, and the other committee reports, negotiations. Actually, we are going to be having we have a motion on the floor since our last meeting about the custodial contract, and so we'll be that will be later on in the meeting. Rita, learn. Rita, you need to unmute.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Anyway, yes, we had a meeting in May about a week and a half ago, and there was really a lot covered. First of all, the new principal of the Marine Science School is going to be Tara Amatrudo, who was at the site of Goodwin College, the high school there. She's a wonderful person, and I think she'll do a great job for the students at Marine Science. And then Mariana Reyes, who was the acting superintendent at the Multicultural Magnet School, was going to be the full-time person there also. Let's see, what else? Oh, all the staff, most of the staff and the principal from dual language are moving over to Goodwin College for their new middle school, which is great. and they were all hired. The Learn Board approved the use of school facilities at Marine Science, the parking lot, the garage, the restrooms for the City of Groton Park and Recs, which is wonderful since they can't use West Side this year. We also had a long talk about doing the executive director's, Kate Erickson's evaluation, and it's going to be done a little bit differently. And maybe sometime I could share that with our board for when we have to evaluate Dr. Grenier. So it's going to be done with the whole board, but you pass out things ahead, and because I know we'll have to be doing Dr. Grenier soon also. And
if on that note, if you could pass that on to Dr. Ackerman, who has agreed to sort of take lead on forming things, so if you could have
this is going to be at our June board meeting that we're going to be going over this. So that's not till the second week of June.
Okay.
But that'd be all right, right? Because I figured we'll probably do it in July.
Okay.
And the CFO at Learn, Mike Belden, gave summary of their budget, which was interesting. And we talked about virtual graduations with all the different towns and what they were doing. So that's about it.
Thank you, Rita.
You're welcome.
So the Board of Ed Town Council RTM liaison, that has just not been happening. I think that everyone is just trying to kind of do this virtual stuff, but the next one would be this coming week. And so Lee, I don't know if you and I need to bang heads together to see if we can make that happen. And if there's any interest with the Town Council and the RTM.
That'd be fine.
All right, so maybe you and I could just do a joint email to them.
Absolutely.
Thank you, friend. And then Board of Ed, AGSA and GEA liaison. Been a long time. And I'm looking at Beth. And do we have one on the schedule to meet?
Yep, on this Wednesday, the 27th at 4:30, I believe.
That is correct.
Okay, so, and are we still planning to have that?
I defer to you. We can.
Yeah, I'm just, it probably would be nice for us to all get together, just to kind of hear how things are going. Dr.
Especially, I think especially for the virtual, to understand that, just in case we ever had to start the school year with that, I would like to definitely hear from the teachers and the administrators.
Okay, that's not a problem. Dr. Grenier?
The date, please. What was the date?
Wednesday.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Oh, Jesus.
At 4:30?
On that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I take back my expletive. I already had it. So I'll see you at par 4.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So we'll be
Joyce
doing, we'll get a virtual invite, is that right?
Joyce and I will get it out tomorrow morning. Okay.
And we'll just put distance learning as our big topic. Unless anybody has any other ideas.
Yeah, we can talk about a couple of things. We'll put it together.
Okay.
Is it 4:15 or 4:30? I had 4:15. Do you know which time it is, Beth? No. Okay.
I think we had moved it to 4:30.
I have 4:30 on my calendar.
That was in my phone.
That's
fine. I moved it to 4:30 because of my schedule, Rita. That's just easier for me to get to there at 4:30 versus the 4:15.
Sure.
Okay.
That's fine.
But that Zoom is helping out a lot in travel. So, trail liaisons, Gretchen.
I thoroughly enjoyed the trails, but I do not believe we have had any meetings.
Okay. And Lee, the Groton Scholarship.
Those of you who remember reading Catch-22 a million years ago, a guy called me from Chelsea, on Chelsea Groton, and asked if we could talk on the phone. And I said, absolutely, and gave him the telephone number, and I've heard nothing.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right, Lee.
Sorry.
Is there a possibility that, I think Matt Brown at the high school headed that up. Is Ted still there? We could maybe ask him about the scholarships and how will they be presented? Will they, for the students that evening?
I
You know how
would
they're
love
always-
to know. I don't know anything.
Yeah,
It is
I was just wondering if
10:22.
Ted was still here. If he could maybe.
I don't know. The people who have gotten in touch with me, one of them was from you. And then both from Chelsea Groton.
Okay.
I don't know the answer.
So
No,
Rita,
but the high school principal.
Yeah. So Rita, we'll try to get that information out to the board because that's actually pretty important.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Anything else on the committee agenda? So I'm moving us on to the action item, specifically the consent agenda, which is all matters listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion. But we will also allow for points of clarification. And so I need a motion for the approval of the regular meeting minutes of April 27th, 2020. Lee has said first. Is there a discussion on those minutes? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the meeting minutes
Kim,
of
who made the second?
Oh, who made the second? Liz did. Thank you, Ms. Joan.
You're welcome.
All right. Do we have all approval of the minutes? Abstain? What's the other word? Oppose. We're all good.
Makes me feel good.
All right. And so we now have a series of policy. And Lee, I will have you start off, so you'll need to unmute. And if you
I'm making a motion to approve as a second reading of policy P4118.13, conflict of interest.
Second.
we have a second. All right. Yep. That's from Liz, Joan. Do we have discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of the second reading to approve the second reading of policy P4118.13 conflict of interest, please say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? That motion has carried. Jane?
To approve as a second reading of policy P5141.27, use of automatic external defibrillators.
Can I have a second?
Second.
That would be Lee. Do I have any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of the second reading of policy P5141.27, use of automatic external defibrillators, please say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
All those oppose? Abstain? Joan, the motion has carried. All right, we are now on the new business. Liz.
Yeah.
Could you please read the motion on new business number 1, please?
Certainly. To approve as a first reading of policy P3230.1, federal grant procurement and regulations for policy R3230.1, federal grant procurement checklist, and R3230.1, federal grant procurement.
Can I have a second, please?
Second.
I got Lee. All right, Sue and Lee, if you would like to do the charge of this first reading, please.
So I really want to commend Ken Knight and Lori in the process of several of these operations policies. So I'm going to let Ken speak to the federal grant.
So a requirement of getting funding through a federal grant the organization must have a policy that stipulates how procurement happens within that grant. And we were cited on our last audit for not having this policy. And so that's this policy here. This is very much, we got this from from CABE, made some adjustments to it, but it's pretty much their template. And it would cover the requirement for those grant purchases.
I do have to say though that a lot of time was taken into the regulations, and you notice that we try to bring you regulations even though the vote is for the policy, but we try to really include any attachments that would be necessary and any stipulations around the policy, so it helps guide especially the business office in their work. So I just wanted to just note that.
Yep.
Any other comments? Andrea? You are muted.
No, I'm muting the wrong thing. Anyway, I have a question about the regulations on page 2 under conflict of interest, number 4. It's the very last one where it says that they can accept an unsolicited item with a value of $10 or less, or multiple unsolicited and so on. Why could they? I don't understand why anybody would be able to accept anything and why that's there.
This was actually the one area that we did make some adjustments to on the original CABE policy. We actually reduced it. It was a higher number. I think it was a value of $100 or less in a 12-month period. And this coincides with the conflict of interest policy as well.
I would say that sometimes a vendor may give you a pen or a book that they want you to read.
Yeah.
Something like that, something very nominal. Not that it would influence our purchase, but you do receive those kind of things. We even had, talked about a teacher receiving a small token gift from a student. As long as it was that nominal amount, we felt.
Yeah, I can understand it. I read the part about the student teachers accepting, Christmas gifts, like small things and all that. But I don't on earth. Now that you said a pen, perhaps.
Or a book. Yeah.
I don't know why that would even be in there. I mean, an item of $10 or less.
Well, they had said 100. I guess people could, give you something in the hopes that then you would, be able to go with that particular vendor. So we just don't want that as a temptation.
I would just say take it out. Why would we allow them to take anything?
Well, I think if we take it out, you're not suggesting that they can.
It says that the board member or agent with a conflict of interest shall not solicit or accept any with a conflict of interest shall not accept any gratuities, favors, or items from a contractor. But they can't take a $10, whatever.
Or less, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's ridiculous.
Well, it's like I said, it's like a pen or a book, or something that they would leave behind. Sometimes they'll leave stuff like that on my desk, and it's more of a nuisance, but
yeah.
I don't want to go to jail for it, for a pen.
No, you have to have something in there. You really do.
Yeah.
Well, I don't agree, but whatever. Okay.
Gretchen?
I think $10 is a little slight. Back when I was teaching in a classroom and going to the vendor thing, going to the teacher conference things every year, and there were always vendors there, they frequently would say, here, take this sweatshirt, or here, your kid goes there, even though it was different schools. It meant very little. I mean, I had to buy the uniform there anyway from them because my kids go to school.
So this policy is more for for Ken and his crew for bidding for purchases of items, not necessarily for going for the conferences and such. So
get more than $10 worth of goodies when
so I guess. Okay, so I guess Lee, And Susan, if you guys can kind of think about that $10 thing or what have you, because that seems to be the part that has the most whatever. But I look forward to seeing the second reading of this policy. So
Kim, before you move on, just you know, when you talked about the $100, and that last line where it says a value of $50 or less in a half-month period, that's back to the $100 like in a month. But I also agree that I'm not sure why that line is there about the money. Like Andrea said, I think it's not worded. It's sort of, I don't know, it's just not worded correctly. Maybe when you come back with it, maybe it'll look different.
Thank you, Rita.
I can't support it if it's like this. So
yeah.
Okay. So any other further questions on that? Okay, all those in favor of the first reading of policy P3230.1 federal grant procurement and regulations for policy R 3230.1 federal grant procedural checklist and R 3230.1 federal grant procurement. All those in favor, please say aye or raise your hands.
Aye.
Oppose? That would be Gretchen. Abstain. And Dr. Ackerman abstained. So this, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Joan, does that pass?
Lee, I think, has her hand raised.
Well, I'm in the middle of a vote. Miss Joan, you are muted.
I'm here.
Okay, so does this motion fail?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2. No, it should pass.
Okay, right. So the motion has passed. Lee,
yes.
I'll recognize you. But you have
to unmute.
You have to unmute.
No, I'm for.
I got it. I had gotten you.
I just want to remind the board that you vote for the policy. The regulation is based on the personnel putting together what's necessary to operationalize
That's
the
right.
policy.
That's
just
right.
Reminding you.
Thank you, Sue. I thank you very much. All right. Rita, would you be willing to read the second motion, please?
Well, I think I will read the second motion, but there has to be some corrections in the wording. The second line, it says bidding checklist as opposed to a checklist.
Oh, that's
so,
where are you?
Number 2?
Yeah, I'm looking.
Being so picky.
I don't know where you are.
Second line.
The second line in both the motion and the discussion.
In red?
No.
In the motion on the agenda.
On the agenda. Right here.
For heaven's sake.
Checklist.
Right. So anyway, that needs to be corrected. But I'll read the motion.
Thank you.
To approve as a first reading of policy P3323 bidding and regulations for policy R3323 bidding checklist and R3323 bidding regulations.
Can I have a second to that, please?
Second.
I got Liz. All right, discussion, Ken?
So in looking at the federal grant purchasing regulations, we wanted to make a notation within this policy to refer to that. So that's one of the reasons we started looking at this policy. The other issue that came up is every year we go through our bid list process where we solicit prices from our vendors, that's supplier vendors. And the policy previously said that it had to be submitted in writing. And the issue that comes up is that we have to take that information and then key it into our software. And so what we're looking for here is the ability to avoid that that extra time and the possibility for error in taking that information from a written document and getting it into our system. And so that's where we changed under number 2 under bid, notice either in writing or by a requested electronic format, which would be like an Excel or a CSV type file. So that was that change on page 1. And then we also put all of the exceptions. This was based on a which policy? I think it was a learn policy, which we modeled this on, where we put all of the exclusions on the bottom versus having some
you're right,
under bids or quotes, and just putting them all on the bottom. And so on the bottom of page 2, we put here the state approved the pre-approved state contracts versus having that up in the other section. So those are the changes that we made to this this policy.
So those are noted, Ken, under the following purchases are excluded from the above quotes and bid requirements, all at the bottom. And there are 6 of them.
Right.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
Okay, all those in favor of the first reading of policy policy P 3323 bidding and regulations for policy R 3323 bidding checklist and R 3323 bidding regulations. All those in favor. Now, Mark, you have mentioned that it makes sense for us to timestamp our vote within the chat section. Is that correct?
If you just put the policy number and then everyone can put just a Y or an N and it comes up with their name. So
Okay.
that way you'd have a written record.
All right, you're just making me double task, and that is not necessarily my thing. But this, so this is policy 3323. And so the motion that's on the floor for all those in favor, just throw your yay or your no or your abstain in chat. If you guys can do that, that would be great. Lee, I see that you're affirmative.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't do it in chat. But
okay, so Rita is affirmative and Andrea is affirmative. So it's going to be a mixture there, Mark. That's the best I can do. Okay, so that looks like that has been approved, and so we're moving on to Gretchen. Would you be willing to do the Good Samaritan policy and just read the motion, please? I think you're going to have to unmute. No, you don't.
Which attachment is that one? I just lost. Oh, there it is.
3.
Got it. Oh crap! Now I lost.
Do you have it?
Yeah, I do. I just put it down for a second, and now I can't reorganize myself. No. Yes. Meeting.
Page 2 at the very bottom.
Page 2 at the very bottom.
Of the agenda.
I'm looking for the agenda.
All right, so I'm going to move on to Jay. Would you be doing the other? And then Gretchen, I'll catch you on the other one.
That's great.
Okay, so I move we approve as a first reading of policy P 4118.7, Good Samaritan.
Can I have a
I'll
second?
second. I'll second.
Rita. I got Rita doing the second, Joan. So, Susan.
Yes, I got it.
Susan.
So if you remember about 3 months ago, we were talking about the nurse being able to give medication by injection as the only person in the school who could do that work. And that still is true with the policy, but in the Good Samaritan, others who have been trained to give the medication could also give the medication. So we wanted to kind of do the Good Samaritan as a follow-up to the original policy. And I'm sorry, I don't have the number. I should have written it down, the other policy.
118.7.
All right, and so do we have any other question about the Good Samaritan policy first reading? All right, hearing none, all those in favor of approving the first reading in the policy P4118.7, which is the Good Samaritan, please say aye or raise your hand. Lee is affirmative. Liz, Rita, Jay, Jane, Andrea. Okay, you are, Rita, you, I'm sorry, Dr. Ackerman, you are muted.
What I'm trying to say is, I don't know what I touched, but I can see Kim, nothing else. There's a big thing on my screen that says Zoom, Mark. Help me, please.
It's like putting your behind the computer.
Hey, what?
Okay, so Andrea, if you're doing a computer on your top right of your screen, it should say speaker view or gallery. If you move your arrow up to the
No,
top,
it doesn't.
right?
No, it says support in English. Say anything like that. So anyway, I'm voting in favor, but Mark, you got to help me.
All right, and I'm sorry that you get stuck seeing only my ugly face, so I apologize about that. All right, so we're gonna move on. Did that vote happen? So we're moving on to, so Gretchen, would you be able to read number 4 motion? And just the motion, not discussion.
Yeah. To approve as a first reading of policy P1230, parent organizations and booster clubs.
Can I have a second to that?
Second.
I got a Rita. Conversation, discussion, please.
Yes. I have something for Kim. Kim, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. No, anyway, on page 2, in the second section on number 2, it says anytime a booster club uses the name of the district and so on, that should be formatted the way the one is underneath there, where it says all items donated become property of the district. That shouldn't be part of the number 2. That should be formatted the way that the ones in number 8 are.
So format like number 8.
Yes.
Okay. Ken, did you want to add anything to comment on the booster club?
I do.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, Lee, this is Lee. Can I say something about this?
Please do, Lee.
Okay, fine. I am going to abstain on this, even though I'm on the policy committee, because I need some information about whether or not people on the committee are asked or suggested to make a monetary donation. And I've been told that that is the case, and until I find out that that is not the case, I'm going to abstain.
Well, I feel like we really haven't had time to review this one thoroughly. And so my recommendation is that we bring it back to our policy meeting next Monday. We have so many that went through.
That's great. That's great, Susan. Yeah.
We need to really just discuss it a little further.
I think that's great.
So I'm going to table this policy so that we can have a fair first reading of that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Liz,
Yeah, I have a question, and I don't know if this is something that we have to address in this, but the wording of both sexes, is that politically correct in today's world?
Could you tell us where you are?
Oh, I've noticed both genders on the second page 2 of 3, in number 7, where it says right at the end, both genders. And then at the end on page 3 of 3, the last paragraph, it says of both sexes twice. And I'm just wondering if we need to be more politically correct in terms of, non-gender specific individuals, people who identify differently. So I'm just want that to be considered. We have a lot of people who are becoming, or a lot of young people who are identifying differently these days. And just to limit 2 sexes, I think is a bit restrictive.
We'll definitely review that when we go back to policy. Thank you.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
Gretchen, did you have a comment? Gretchen, you need to unmute.
I just remuted before anybody in my house would say anything. Apparently I have nothing to say about it, says my son. But technically we only have girls track and boys track at the moment. But
so, Gretchen, I'm running the meeting, so thank you.
Okay, I had a quick question, Kim. Didn't we already have a policy on this? I was asking Susan.
The Booster Club?
Yes. Parent organizations and Booster Club. I believe there was already a policy of this. That's why I was surprised not to see it sort of in red and green and different colors.
I will double check with Erica. I'm sure it was, but it did come out black and white. So I will get that to you.
So what I hear from the policy committee is that we're retracting that, and so it's not going to go.
Right. Yeah. But it was just a comment so that when they retracted, they could go over it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I think, does that take us out of all, that takes us out of all policy. Policy, thank you for doing all of your really hard work. Dr. Grenier, I am going to ask the board if we can move the topic of the treehouse up forward, because I do know that we've got some of our friends on, and instead of, sorry, thank you, Jake, for hanging out. So instead of having them wait to the very end of the meeting, that maybe we could get them on, and then they can enjoy the rest of their evening, or they could stay on with us if they so choose. Jane, I am wondering if you would be willing to read number 9, the motion. So we're skipping down to 9, please.
I'm looking for 9. Why don't you have someone else read that and I'll find it.
Okay, Liz, can you please read?
Sure. To approve the proposed funding of the Treehouse Summer Program.
Can I have a second on this, please? Lee, thank you. And so we had this conversation in our committee of the whole last week. We said that we were going to bring this up for a vote. And Dr. Grenier, would you like to once again sort of orient the board?
Yes. And Jake, chime in if my numbers are not correct here, but because the Office of Early Childhood has changed the guidelines for the summer program due to the COVID-19, we have to nearly double the size of the staff. And so while we were ready to open the summer program and have the 8 weeks go straight forward with appropriate funding for the enterprise fund, that would, in other words, it would pay for itself. What we realized was when we doubled up on the staff 1-to-5 ratio with young children, we realized that the program would run about $34,000 if my numbers are correct. Is that right, Jake?
Yeah, it was somewhere around that. I don't have the spreadsheet up at this moment.
But about $34,000.
Yeah.
So what will happen is if we start the program, we have not yet gotten the waiver. I think, Jake. At least I haven't heard.
I believe Nikki was on the phone with the Office of Early Childhood today, and I think we did get that waiver.
Okay. So we would start on June 22nd and go all the way till August 14th. We would have permission to have 120 children, 60 at Catherine Konowski, 60 at Northeast Academy. But because of the increase in the number of staff members we would need, I'm recommending that the board would approve from the money that was unexpended, would approve a payment of the June expenses not to exceed $34,000, and that would leave the enterprise fund intact for the summer, and you would not have a deficit, if I understand correctly, Julie. Is that right?
Correct.
So
So
it's a service, and we certainly want to provide it.
So the question is on there is whether the board is up to the 34,000,
Yes, not to exceed.
not to exceed.
If, in other words, if we don't have as many children as we anticipate, if there are only 100 children, we wouldn't need quite as much staff. But if 120 children do, and I know we've gotten some early registrations, so we think, is that still true, Jake, that we think we'll have about 120?
Yeah, that's the estimate. As of today, I believe we're up about 65 to 70 by the end of the day today, but we do have a lot coming in.
Okay. So if the max would be 34, if it's less than that, of course, then we wouldn't hire the extra staff.
Absolutely.
I think, Liz?
So where would this money come from for us to back this up? I don't understand.
Okay.
It would come from the unexpended balance that Ken mentioned, the $90,000.
So that would drop that down to about 60.
56.
Possibly.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
Lee, did you have a question? Can't hear you.
To this probably after COVID is over. Yes, no, I mean, the concept is if the country is ready to go to work, we have to have places for our kids to have learning in the summer. And because we have to have twice as many teachers per student, we need to do this. And I'm just all for it, obviously.
Right, so this is not the teaching, this is not an educational program, that this is the Treehouse, which is the before and after school program.
I know.
No, Jake, I do know that you guys do an amazing job at giving kids experiences that are just,
yes,
they are, it's just a phenomenal program, and I thank you very much for your efforts. Jay, okay, so just as part of this discussion, Rita.
I just had a question about the member, non-resident. If you could explain that to me.
So we have a price for children who are enrolled during the school year. We have a price for people who whose children attend the Groton Public Schools but are not normally members of Treehouse. And then we do typically have a group who come from other towns, other neighboring towns. So that non-member, non-resident price.
This year, because there's probably going to be such a demand, would the member and non-members that live in town have precedent?
We haven't discussed that. Though we, obviously, if the board is, willing to help subsidize this, precedent would be given to. I'm speaking out of turn. I would need to consult with Nikki. I am the assistant director, but I would assume precedent would be given to our students, Groton Public School students.
Yeah, I mean,
thank you.
It's just something that I think would be important. If it fills up so quickly,
I agree.
There's going to be such a need this summer. I do believe now that the board is funding it and it's not independent anymore, that that would be something to think about.
Absolutely.
I agree with Rita. Yeah.
And typically we don't have more than 10 or 20 students who are from outside of Groton or Groton schools. So I don't think it would become a concern, but if that were the case, obviously we'd have to consider.
Yeah. And is this ages preschool to 5th grade?
Right now we're taking students who are entering 1st grade through entering 7th grade. Typically, we're entering we were looking to be entering kindergarten through entering 7th this year, but because of what we're dealing with now, we didn't feel that we were equipped to deal with the children who are entering kindergarten yet.
Can I ask why you do 7th grade, which is, they really typically wouldn't be at NEA in Kolnaski. Even the 6th graders aren't.
Once again, this is a question better answered by Nikki, but I believe the reason we're doing that is because we typically have a holdout crew who have been coming summer to summer, who typically participate in a CIT program with us.
Okay, that
They're
makes sense.
these young leaders.
Yes.
So it's really
Yeah.
a program that they do.
Okay,
Gretchen?
thank you.
Yes, I agree with Rita that Groton residents should get preference. And I say that, and I include all Groton residents, not just the ones who are currently in or going to Groton schools. We also have kids who go to lots of the different schools around here, but they do pay taxes. So if the taxpayers are paying for it, then our kids get first, whether they go to a Groton school or they go to a private school or their school.
Thank you, Gretchen.
And I want one more thing.
Go ahead.
Price. Out-of-towners pay more, a lot more.
And that's how we set up our fees at another board meeting. They were approved, and that is how it is right now. I believe I don't have the numbers in front of me or on the top of my head.
225.
Yeah.
So there was a question that was in our chat, Jake, that said, are non-members considered part of the staff? So are staff children part of the non-member? I'm assuming that is what the question is.
Ooh, so again, I apologize. Better question for Nikki, but it would depend on if they're registered for the school year. Currently all of our staff members who have kids who are also enrolled in Treehouse are Groton Public Schools children, so they would be getting the member rate, but they are members, and there are no discounts given to employees of the program.
Okay, thank you. And you know what, maybe some of those questions, I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
No, it's okay.
Maybe that information can kind of either get to either Dr. Grenier or his his administrative assistant, and you could just throw in the board notes so that we can kind of close that chapter on that.
Absolutely.
I am actually going to ask Jay if we can add to the finance and facilities as a possible agenda to kind of talk about how does we move forward with the Treehouse, because I don't think that this is going to be our one and only rodeo when it comes to dealing with COVID, specifically with COVID after school stuff, in terms of like how to make sure that you guys are solvent, because you're such a great program. But it's going to be clear that the board isn't always going to be able to have extra money to kind of help you guys out. And so I would love to have the Finance and Facility Committee begin to work with you at sort of being able to kind of move you guys forward.
Absolutely.
That's possible? Rita?
And I think there's also going to be a question of, if we do not start school, will the Treehouse program exist if we won't be having school indoors and it's virtual? Will there be even a Treehouse program in the fall? It's like one more complicating thing.
Yeah, if I may, tell me if I'm speaking out of turn, but I mean, I think that we would have been better able to absorb the financial deficit this summer, but we were paying our staff out of our enterprise fund the entire time we were shut down.
Well, that's fine. Jake, totally understand that. Absolutely understand that. And I think that the board here really understands that you guys were just to keep your staff in place so that you had good folk for our children is very important to this board. We've demonstrated that time and time again during this COVID, of keeping staff on to make sure that our kids get the best that they can.
Yeah, consistency is
definitely
definitely
need to sort of move us, just to kind of move. I think this is a conversation I think that we're asking everyone to have, is how do we make sure that ensure to do that? And that's a good question, Rita, about what happens. But I'm also not following my own instruction, which is to stay on topic and stay to the motion which is on the floor. So if there's no further discussion about up to the $34,000, Is there any question on that? If not, I'm going to read the motion, which is to approve the proposed funding of the Treehouse Summer Program up to the, I think is it 34.9?
To a maximum of 34, yes.
To a maximum of 34.
Yes.
But that's not in the motion.
I think we'd like to include it in the motion, though. if we
Okay.
can.
So Ms. Jones, was that said in the first motion?
No.
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 No, it wasn't. And to add that is an amendment.
Okay, my lovey, so walk me through this. So I was in the middle of asking for a vote, so do I stop that vote?
Yes, you're making an amendment.
Okay, so I would like to make
Add up to a maximum of $34,000.
what she said. So I would like to amend the motion for the Treehouse, that the board will approve funding up to the 34,000.
Yes.
Okay, so now we're gonna vote on the amendment. Is that
Now
correct?
you need a second, Kim.
Can I have a second,
I'll
please? I've got Rita.
Okay.
This is called Kim being human. All right, any further discussion on the amendment? Okay, all those in favor of the amendment that's on the floor to approve the proposed funding of the Treehouse Summer Program up to 34,000, please say aye. Raise your hands.
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? The motion has carried unanimously. Now, Ms. Joan, don't go on mute on me.
Oh, sorry.
So now do I have to do the, do I have to do the motion that's on the floor, or do I just do the amendment?
Just change the motion overall, so you're good to go.
Thank you, my lovey.
Yep.
All right, so I am now gonna go. So Jake, you're all taken care of?
All right, thank you very much.
You got it. All right.
Have a great night.
All right. All right, so I am now going to go back to number 5. And before I entertain that motion, if people feel like it's important that we had this conversation after the committee of the whole meeting, if people feel like we need to go into an executive session, I'm willing to have that table to the end of our meeting, and we'll do the executive session at that point. If not, we can just move forward on this motion as it stands right now. So can I get a consensus? Is there anyone on the board that feels that we need to go into a negotiation meeting on this? I see no one interested in doing so. So Jane, are you willing to go to number 5 and read the motion that's on the agenda?
Yes, to approve a one-year contract extension for the Groton School Custodian and Maintenance Association bargaining unit for the period of July 1st, 2020 to June 30th, 2021.
Can I have a second on that?
I'll second.
I got Lee. Do we have discussion on that? Dr. Grenier?
No, it is the agreement that we talked about earlier, and we have the document now in hand, and both parties agreed to the extension if this goes through.
Any other conversation? Hearing none, all those in favor to approve a one-year contract extension for the Groton School Custodian and Maintenance Association bargaining unit for the period of July 1st, 2020 to June 30th, 2021. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, so opposed? Abstentions? The motion has carried unanimously. We're now on to motion number 6. Lee, would you be willing to read number 6 for me, please?
I will.
Thank you.
The motion is to approve the proposed Schedule C stipends for Groton Middle School for the 2020-21 school year.
Thank you, Lee. Can I have a second? Liz Porter? Thank you. So this is once again something that we had a long conversation with last time we met in committee of the whole. I believe we have an attachment. It's attachment number 10. And we asked them to kind of clean that up a little bit so that it made sense, and that we just kind of talked about it in terms of Groton Middle School. Is there any further conversation? Rita?
I have quite a few questions, and I'm going to start from the bottom. Why do we need 2 advisors for student council? I mean, it's a set amount of children. You know, it's not going to be like it's a team or. So that was one of my questions. Why there are 2 for student council? Why there are 2 for drama and jazz band? I understand the intramural fall sports. They're also doubled in spring and winter. I could see there'll be a lot of students doing that. But to me, to have 2 dramas, 2 student towns, I don't know. It just seemed repetitious. So, and then my other question was, I never could understand, and maybe Dr. Grenier could do a little research on this, why there is a girls softball team at the middle school and not a boys baseball team. It had something to do a long time ago about when Groton had 7th, 8th, and 9th, and then they moved the 9th grade up to the high school, and it was something to do with Title IX, but I don't know what it is. And now that we may have more fields, I was hoping that possibly to involve more children in after-school activities, we could not only have softball, but baseball. And maybe some of those funds could come from the doubling up of some of these other programs you have.
I'll find out.
Rita, I think I know the answer. If you can hear me, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, because
Okay.
you were here then.
I wish I could join in, but anyway, when I was a principal, that's when that happened. When we moved to the and I always get yelled at for this. Is it CIAC or CAIC?
CIAC.
CIAC. It's their regulations. It's their regulations that determine this.
I thought it was Title IX that we had to have an equal number of sports altogether across 6 through 12.
No, baseball moved to the high school because of those regulations.
I still don't know if that would apply now, but maybe they've changed.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Grenier, that's up to you. And Dennis, help me with this. Dennis, tell me what to do.
I'll find out and I'll get back to you and I'll put it in board notes.
Thank
on
you.
all 3 things, all 4 things.
Well, it could, but if we're going to vote on this, I'm not going to vote on it until it's.
Yeah, I don't think there's any great rush. We could table this for now.
Is there any other questions that we want Dr. Grenier to find out? Gretchen? And it looks like Andrea is still having some difficulty. So if there's someone from the technology that would like to sort of do a chat with Andrea, I think that she would. So,
I mean, I've asked the same question about why we don't have baseball in middle school 100 times. So I'd love the answer.
Okay, great. We're
going
to
find out.
Can I just ask this question? Is there anything to do with making sure that we get these jobs posted so that the coaches will be selected prior to the end of school? Is that is that a factor in all of this, or does it matter?
That's a reasonable question.
And Beth is shaking her head yes. So one of the things that we could do is our first committee of the whole meeting is going to be June 8th. And we could do a special meeting and just vote on this so that we can get that done. But I don't think that it's the will of the board to vote on that.
So we have to get back to you with the answers.
Right.
So I think it's a good solution, Kim.
Okay.
But Beth asked if we could do a set aside for those options and vote for the other ones. And I saw it up on the little screen.
Well, you could amend it to say you would accept the positions for the fall, the stipends for the fall positions. So unified.
But drama and jazz band would be that.
And student council.
And student council.
Well, you know what? I'm going to get the answer. I'll bring it to the finance committee on the 1st. And if need be, Kim, we could always have a 5-minute meeting on the
Not even, just to vote on that. Absolutely.
yeah, like before the COW on the 8th or whatever.
Yeah, I'm not really willing to sort of, in this day and time, I'm not willing to sort of parcel things out because it will get lost. And so let's have it go back.
Okay.
All right.
This item is tabled?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
And so the next motion is number 7. Rita, would you be willing to read that for me, please?
Yes. To approve the adoption of the revised FY21 Board of Education budget.
Can I have a second on that, please?
Second.
So Ken or Dr. Grenier?
So we went over this last week. This was attachment 11. This was how we are going to, we're proposing to adjust the FY21 budget to represent the 0% increase that that we have to abide by. So this has this schedule here shows the reductions in other benefits, which is the severance, in the supplies, the instructional supplies, the site budget, the diesel, which is leftover diesel from this year, custodial supplies, leftover custodial supplies from this year, and then some equipment that we will purchase this year and not have to purchase next year.
Any other questions about that? All right, hearing none, to all those in favor to approve the adoption of the revised fiscal year 21 Board of Education budget, please say aye.
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 Thank you, Rita. Oppose? Abstain? The motion has carried unanimously. Jay, would you be willing to read number 8, please?
Motion to approve the proposed technology equipment plan.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. So Ken?
So this is attachment 12. This is all. We also looked at this one last week. The first box are the needs that we have identified that we need to purchase, and then in the second box was the funding, where that comes from. Part of it is coming from the cost avoidance that we spoke of before, which was transportation costs that we won't incur, as well as a reduction in the site budgets. And then some coming from the Alliance District funding that's Susan had talked about before, and then the DoD supplemental impact aid of about $218,000. So funding $1,098,700 of IT equipment.
Any other questions about this? Once again, we did have I got you, Dr. Grenier. We did have a long conversation about this in our last committee of the whole meeting. So it's not look like we're just passing things through, but we have had a conversation about that. Dr. Grenier?
I just want to highlight this is the foundation for next year's distance learning program. I realize it's a significant price tag, but if at any time next year we need to shift to hybrid learning, or in fact full distance learning again, this would provide a device for every child in the school district.
Any further conversation? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion to approve the proposed technology equipment plan, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? That has also passed unanimously. The last motion that's on the floor is one that we have added today, which is the motion is to approve for full-time literacy specialists in the Fitch High School. That's the motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? No. All those in favor of the motion that's on the floor to approve the literacy specialist for the high school, please say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? That motion has also carried unanimously. Great job, board. I think
Ooh, that was something. So that was a
that
marathon.
really has given the high school some tools. All right, we are now at the last part of our meeting, which is the information or the letters and communication. Liz, I'm going to start with you.
Okay, I wanted to let the board know that on May 2nd, 2 groups of students from Cutler participated in the Connecticut State History Day. Unfortunately, we did not place in the top 3. However, one of our groups landed probably close to number 5, which is really quite a remarkable occurrence. And so they won a special award. So for their performance, it was a junior group performance entitled Prudence Crandall, Catherine Lamb, Annalise Otano, and Chastity Sheffield won the special award, Outstanding Entry Related to Connecticut Law, sponsored by the Connecticut Supreme Court Historical Society. So they finished quite up there in the finals. You know, they probably were 5 or 6, but this is a good beginning. This is a good start. This group has never had this type of competition before, and I think it's something that we can encourage our kids to show that, yes, we do have quality here in Groton, and I'm very, very proud of these young people. They really rose the challenge. And having been a judge at the History Day, I'm just so proud of them.
Liz, thank you. Is there any other communications that you would like to share with us?
Yes, I just had a quick question. I was asked yesterday, if the tennis courts at Fitch High School are now open to the public.
No,
Okay.
not yet.
And will they be open soon, or do we know?
I'll talk to I have to check the governor's executive order. We'll make it. I'll call the Park and Rec people, and then we'll make it public on the website.
Okay, thank you.
Jane, do you have communications and letters and correspondence?
I just know that I attended 3 meetings: policy, finance, facility, and curriculum. And I've been busy interacting with grandchildren and neighbors to see how they're doing. And it's a very strange summer for the kids as well. They're doing very well, but it takes a lot of energy and stress on parents to make it all work, especially if parents are teachers, and these 2 ladies are.
Thank you, Jane. Rita?
Yes, in line with what Jane was just saying, I've had requests from parents that students go back to school in the end of August. that they're not, I mean, I really feel we'll do a disservice to our students that, academically sometimes have challenges. I think students who don't have any academic needs, they're doing well. But the other students aren't. I would say at least 50% of ours. So I would encourage, I'm not sure if it's going to come down, Dr. Grenier, I don't know if you know if it's going to come down from the governor, or is it by, let's say, Learns Regional and the different rests? Do you know how?
It actually may come down to the district. And if the district is able to, the guidelines will come down from the state. That's clear. The question, like we were talking about having children on buses, perhaps a maximum of 15 children on the bus. We would have to triple the number of buses. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be a practical decision, actually.
I don't know why just 15 on those buses, but one thing I do know that I've been reading quite a bit about what different districts are doing. And in terms of buses, they said 1 child per seat, and they sit in the same place. In case someone does come down with the virus, they can do contact tracing, so they know exactly where that child sat.
Yeah.
But I would think that even if we do half days or we do every third day or something, I really feel that students need to get back to school. And if it doesn't work out, like Notre Dame, a lot of the colleges and everything, they're going at the end of August and stopping by Thanksgiving and then taking a break. I mean, even if we needed to do, if it does come back in the fall, the winter, at least get the kids back to school. But that's my,
not only do I agree, but I'm praying for that.
Yes. I also wanted to really commend the high school staff, the parents and volunteers who participated in going to all the different high school seniors' homes and the signs. You drive around town and you see them everywhere. And I mean, I actually heard it come through our neighborhood and it was very exciting. So I'd like to thank them for doing that. Also, NEA, their Sing video was amazing. I thought it was so uplifting. I've watched it a few times just so I could recognize some different parents and staff members. My last thing is, I don't know, Dr. Grenier, if you've hired a Fish athletic director yet, or is there a committee for that?
Yeah, there is, but we just literally posted it outside now. We had limited interest initially, so now it's been posted out, and Ted is heading that up. I'll find out about the committee. I don't really know.
Yeah, and if you needed another person, I'd be very happy to be part of that committee for the athletic director. I think it's an extremely important position.
Yeah, thank you.
That's it.
Thank you. Jay?
Yes, I want to echo what Rita said. That was amazing. There was a lot of great feedback on Facebook that day, and I know people were really happy that the seniors are definitely being taken care of in very creative ways.
Yeah.
I did have one question, and I can't quibble because I don't know anything about public health, but somebody was asking why the 12 feet separation of automobiles at the graduation. And I said, I really believe that was probably either a state or maybe a health department guideline, because we're saying 6 feet in person. And we obviously know if anybody goes to a store that people come within inches. So why it's 12 feet for automobiles, and they're concerned it's limiting the number that will be able to attend.
Yeah, well, we did get our original guidance from the health department, from Steve Mansfield, the director of Ledge Light. Right from the beginning, and I'll talk to Ted about this. Right from the beginning, we thought between a few staff cars, Board of Education, and the graduates, we need a parking lot that could accommodate at least 6 feet apart, about 250, 260 cars. So that kind of drove us to the 1 car per graduate, which I think is what people are concerned with. Is that right? Yeah, I'll talk to Ted about that.
I talked about this evening though, Jay, to say that spacing was so it's a checkerboard so that everyone can see the screen. So 12. So that's my guess, is that there can be the next row can be the car in between the cars in front that are 12 feet across. But that's a good question, and hopefully people will be flexible. Jay, is there other questions that you have?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Gretchen, did I get you? Do you have anything?
Yeah. With the emergence of the miracle fence around Cutler, suddenly the locals who are now suddenly also walking around a lot more and have gone down there, their kids have gone down there to play ball. The older children that have gone down to play ball have been asking, well, are they going to put a ball field back up? Are they going to put the tennis courts back up? Are they going to put the basketball hoops back up? So losing that space as a area playground is a little hard for this area, particularly right now. But so there is some concern in the neighborhood about that. But I know we have set plans, and I keep telling them we're going to do what we can.
Thank you, Gretchen. Anything else?
Nope. The Fitch teachers, the Northeast Academy teachers have all been great. I've enjoyed seeing the "We love our miss our students" signs up in our neighborhood, and it's just been very different. So
yes, it is. Lee, do you have anything?
No communications? No, not much. Nope.
Thank you, Lee. Dr. Ackerman?
Am I last?
I'm after you, so you're last.
Thank you. Motion to adjourn.
Oh, no, wait a minute.
No?
I have a question too, Kim.
So, go ahead, Rita.
My question is to Dr. Grenier. On our June 22nd meeting, are we going to be having the teachers of the teacher of the year for Groton and each school? Okay,
hope so,
great.
yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, this would have been actually the meeting that we would have honored everyone. So
Yes.
it is going to happen. Liz, you're got mute.
On that same venue, what are we doing for the retirees?
Same night. We're hoping.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
It will be virtual, and we believe we could be somewhat efficient. But
Yep.
we'll honor them.
Okay. Thank you.
And so my communication that I received also came to Dr. Grenier this morning with a question about when we talk about reopening the Fitch or the schools, that the bank that's inside the Fitch High School, that they be part of those conversations as well, because they also have a COVID. The bank itself also has a COVID protocol. So I got that.
I forwarded that to Lori and to Sam to see which committee would be the best for them.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you so much.
Yep. All set.
And then the other thing, just to let the board know, is that I've had a communication with both the mayor of the town and the moderator, and they are not doing their meetings in person anytime soon as well. So we are going to continue to move on virtually until we're told that we don't have to anymore. On the back of our agenda is a bunch of our notes. It looks like the only thing that might change would be on the June 8th. We might throw in a special meeting so that we can vote on the stipend, so that we can get that going. Anything else, Jay?
So I'm just curious if and this doesn't have to be in a meeting necessarily, maybe Dr. Grenier in board notes could share anything he knows about how our Groton students who are attending out of magnet schools are doing with their distance learning. Have we gotten any feedback about that?
You also need to be unmuted.
It was particularly brilliant what I said. A little bit from Sacred Heart, and I'm going to be sharing a conversation on Monday night with the committee. Well, I could find out a little bit more, right? Generally, at least as the principal from Sacred Heart thought it was going pretty well.
Andrea.
Oh, motion to adjourn.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those abstain. Motion is carried. Good night, everyone.
Night.
Very good meeting.
Everybody.
Stay well.